Hello everyone and welcome to Saturday Stitching. As you can see, I'm recording in a slightly different part of my bedroom today because frankly I'm a bit tired and I didn't feel like finagling the whole setup to give you the nice blank wall. So I just want to show you what I've done this week and let's go. Um, this has been a bit of a cast on week for me because I'm trying to do what I think I mentioned this last week, my needlework rotation. So I started that this week, which means several people on the list didn't have projects set for them, so I started them. So I'm just going to go down the list of what I cast on or worked on this week. Starting with Sunday. Sunday is a gift or charity day. So I already told you I was going to work on the fluffy lap blanket by Nikki Epstein. So I thought I'd show off what I store my projects in as I go along, by the way. This is one of those little boxes that you're supposed to sit on a shelf and you can keep your papers or whatever in. I don't know where this came from because I don't buy this kind of stuff. It was probably a giveaway or something like that. It folds down into a neat little thing. I don't know where it came from. But this is what I have Sunday's project in. And this is how far I've gotten so far. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably have already seen it. I don't post much on Instagram. I just use Instagram to post the pictures that I'm putting up on Ravelry. So I really don't use Instagram that much. But if you've followed me on Instagram, you've probably already seen this. So this is the first 3 inches of the Afghan. Let me see if I can get that up there. You can probably see it's kind of a furry yarn. My camera's not really good with colors, so I don't know if you can really see, but it's kind of a brown yarn. So I'm right at the part where you start adding the other color. And as I said, I'm probably going to be playing yarn chicken. So I've noticed that most people make this blanket wider and a little bit longer, but since I don't have a lot of the contrast color, I'm following exactly as the pattern said. So I started off with 104 stitches. I think some people widen that out to like maybe 140. So I don't know how wide this is going to be because when you add the contrast color, you decrease the stitches by half to give it more of a, because normally you would think, oh, well, this will probably be wide enough because when you stretch it out, it'll make it wide. But actually, you're supposed to have more of a bunched up look. So this is going to be more bunched up in the Afghan. So I don't know how wide it's going to end up on the lap once I decrease the stitches. So it may not end up being a very practical blanket, but those who know me know that I tend to go by the pattern exactly at first. I am loath to change things. So that's the Sunday pattern. It knits really quickly. This yarn is, it feels really soft. It feels really squishy. You almost feel like, why would they discontinue something like this? Because the resulting fabric feels really nice. But to working with it isn't bad either until you mess up. If you have to rip back, it's like pulling apart that stuff that comes out of the cat brush after you brush the cat. It's like all matted together. So, and no, I don't have any cats, but I have friends who do. Okay. And now Monday is for projects for my daughter Maya. Now, I don't have anything for Maya because she recently mentioned that she likes knee socks. And so the yarn that I have for her socks is I just have two 50-gram balls of yarn, which will not make knee socks. You need at least 3 balls for the knee sock pattern I had in mind. And I don't I don't know if I can get any more yarn right now, because of our tight budget. So I think what I'll do, because I've never knit two 50-gram balls all the way to the end, I don't think. So what I'll do is just use one ball for each sock and knit it till I run out of yarn for each sock and see how long I can get the socks to be. But I didn't come to that decision until this morning. So on Monday, I didn't cast on anything for her. But next week, Maya, I will definitely have something started for you. Okay, Tuesday is Sydney. And Sydney, technically, her project was already cast on, but it's sort of a semi cast on because, as you recall, new, I had to get a new hook because the Tunisian hook I was using didn't have a cable on the end, so the project was really scrunched up. So this is the first time I've used the new hook. And I'm still kind of working the kinks out of it because it was kind of twisty, and so it's not moving quite as smoothly as I had hoped, but it's better. It's better. This is where I am so far. I put a little marker here so I could show progress, but as you can see, I haven't made much progress. I did like maybe 3.5 rows because I'm on the reverse pass of this last row, so like 3.5 rows of it. But I mean, it's working. And the only problem is, see the little knob here, for the yarn. I guess I crochet so loosely that these loops can come right off the end. These loops are this is supposed to stop, this knob is supposed to stop the loops, but my crochet is so loose that if I'm not careful, it'll come right off the end. So it didn't totally solve my problem, but at least it's not all bunched up. At least I can hold the whole square. And yes, this is one square, so this is going to feel like a double size or even a queen size blanket when I'm done, because this is 1 out of 4 squares. So that was the Tuesday for all the millions of bobbins. This is the Tuesday for Sydney. So put that back in there. Okay, Wednesday is for Chloe, and I had showed you socks for her, but again, and Tuesday's project, plastic bag. I think that's the bag that the yarn, I had ordered the yarn from Joann's, and I think that's the actual bag that the yarn had come in. Another bag. I don't know. This might be another bag that yarn came in. I don't know. I don't order yarn online very often, so I don't know where these bags came from. But I had started her sock toe up, and then when I went back to start knitting it on Wednesday, somehow when I left off, I must have made a mistake, because I ended up, you know how when you start doing a toe up sock and you have just like a little flat piece, right? So, and then it starts to bend into the sock. Well, my little flat piece ended up more like this, because I think I had like decreased or increased more on one side and forgot the increases on the other side, so it was like narrow here and wide up here. So I just pulled it all out and started over, because that's the kind of person I am. I'm not good at reading my knitting to make a correction and fix it, to just like maybe frog 2 rows and fix it. I just, especially if I'm not that far along, I just rip it out and start over rather than trying to figure it out. So, yeah, my first alternative is to try to knit around it if I can. But since I wasn't that far along, it was better to just rip it out. So I started over. So this is what I have for, sorry, I'm trying not to squint. Every time I catch myself squinting, I do the reverse of the squinting. But this is, And as I said, I was going to try to do 2 at a time. So I have my little toe. That's all I've got. I was going to try to do 2 at a time, but I read a tutorial and it was so confusing that I was like, you know what? Let me handle the magic loop and the toe up first and then get to the 2 at a time another day. But I think I will probably end up kind of doing 2 at a time, just not on the same needle. I think I'll grab a set of DPNs or something like that and like knit this to a certain point and then cast on the other ball of yarn on the DPNs and knit that to a certain point. So I was trying to avoid DPNs, but at the same time, I'm scared if I knit this whole sock, then it'll be ages before I do the other one, and I don't want to do that. So that lovely bag was Chloe's Wednesday. Now, Thursday is supposed to be for my son Isaac, and as I've mentioned before, he's not really big into the hand knits. You know, I've asked him, if I knit you a sweater, would you wear it? No. If I knit you a hat, would you wear it? No. If I knit you a scarf, would you wear it? No. He's honest about it. He won't wear it. He would like socks, but so I haven't bought any yarn for socks because I don't have any yarn for manly socks at all, which, you know, I'll address again with Friday too. I don't have any yarn for manly socks. So he did buy me for Christmas, which I can't remember if I showed this on a video before, but he bought me the Potholder Loom Pro, which is you remember those potholder looms as a kid. Well, this, I saw Yarn Hoarder on her vlog. I saw her talk about how her daughter uses this pro version, which is a 10-inch instead of the small 7 inches that we all grew up using, or maybe even 5 inches. They were tiny, I remember, and they were plastic. But I saw that she uses a big one, and I also saw some YouTube videos where people were making like squares with yarn instead of the cotton loops, using just like regular yarn and weaving it back and forth and making squares that they then put into afghans or skirts. So I thought that might be something fun to try, and he was trying to figure out what to get me for Christmas, so I told him to buy me this. So he bought me this at Christmas, but I haven't done anything with it. So since this was his day, I figured on his day I would use his present until I could get some yarn for his socks. So, and I also have an Afghan pattern for him, but I don't have yarn for that either. So this I started. So basically this is all that I got done on Friday, because I picked a specific pattern out of the book instead of just randomly casting on, because my bag is three colors. It's not just a random bag, like, again, I don't know if you can see through the glare, but it's light green, dark green, and purple. Let me see. It's not a random, like when you buy those kits at Michael's or whatever for the kids, you get a random bag. So, but mine is all filled with these 3 colors. So, and there's supposed to be enough in here to make 2 pot holders. So I thought I'd go ahead and make the pot holders since it came with the kit, but I don't plan on buying any more loops, because these loops are like $15 a bag just to make 2 pot holders, and I can't. That's like $7 a pot holder. I don't even spend $7 for a ball of yarn, so that I can't. But I decided I wanted to do this design. See, and this down here shows you how to, you know, which colors to put. So I just substituted my own colors in for the reds that they were using, and I'm trying that. So it took me a little longer to put the loops on because I was trying to make sure I got the colors in the right order. So I got all these on and then only started. So hopefully I'll finish this pot holder next Friday. So that's, and this was relatively simple enough to do while watching TV. So that's what I did on my son's day. And then Friday is my husband Alan's day. And again, I've made him hats before. The thing with my husband Alan, he appreciates hand knits and crocheted items in theory, but he really likes things made with fingering weight yarn. And I like he's always in search of the perfect hat, but he wants his hats made in fingering weight yarn. And I can't bring myself to do, I do socks and fingering weight because I don't like bulky socks, but I can't bring myself, as much as I see sweaters and fingering weight and tank tops and hats and shawls and fingering weight. But when I was doing those socks, because I've been tempted by some things lately, and I'm like, oh well, fingering weight's not so bad. And then I started doing those socks, and I haven't done socks in 10 years. I started doing those socks, and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember why I don't do fingering weight in anything other than socks. So it's hard. Basically, it's hard to make things for him because he's not a big fan of the thickness of worsted weight. He doesn't wear it for himself. He's made a couple things for other people, and he's made blankets on Nifty Knitter looms, but don't tell anybody. But he doesn't particularly care for wearing worsted weight himself. He likes the fineness of fingering weight. So I don't often make things for him, but I felt like I couldn't leave him off the list. So what I did make, I know that he likes scrubby things in the shower. I mean, I've even caught him buying those dish sponges that are like, the yellow and green sponge with the rough to exfoliate in the shower. He likes a scrubby thing in the shower, not just a regular washcloth. So I made him with, this is the bag that I've devoted to dishcloth type stuff, dishcloth, washcloth stuff. And again, I think this was a bag that some sort of, when you get those gift sets at Christmas, that they sell in different stores, and they can have lotions or makeups or something. I think that's what this was. I think this one had like maybe some sort of bath gel and lotion and deodorant set or something like that. I don't know. We have so many free giveaway things in our house from different things. I just, 2 more new bags in the house today that you'll probably end up seeing later. But as I showed you last week, my husband got me the acrylic Red Heart scrubby. And I still have plenty of the scrubby cotton. So I used them together to make this scrubby thing. It has a handle on the back. I crocheted it. So the idea is you're supposed to, put it on your hand, scrub, put your little soap on here. It's the kind of thing that you put in a gift basket along with the fancy soap and stuff like that. So I thought he might like it. I think I got the strap on kind of crooked, but I think it turned out really well. It's a pattern. It's a free pattern from Red Heart called Handy Palm Scrubbing. And the pattern's not in Ravelry yet, so you'd have to go directly to Red Heart to find it. And the pattern, a little frustrating, the pattern calls for 3 balls of yarn, but you don't really need the 3 balls of yarn. Technically, you don't need 2 balls of yarn. These balls of Scrubby are $5 each. Okay, as you can see, this is the only thing I've made from this ball of Scrubby, because if you look at it, it's the same on both sides. This is two pads. This is two ovals. You basically make two identical ovals, and then you stitch them together with a contrasting color, and you make the strap, the half double crochets for the strap. So very simple. So it's very nice. The two the two ovals together give it a nice weight to it and give it a nice squishy feeling. So it's really nice. But you don't need to buy 3 balls of yarn. I think they tell you to buy 3 balls of yarn because in the picture they show one Scrubby with a that's blue with the white border and strap, and then one Scrubby that's tan with the white border and strap. So if you wanted to make all 3 of them, then I guess you'd buy 3 colors. But technically, you could do this and not even do the contrasting color around it and still have plenty. You could probably get 2 out of this ball right here. You don't really need 3 balls because you'd still have some left over. Or I was thinking you could, because you don't, there's so little, I don't know if you can see, but this is just single crochet, 1 row single crochet around here. And then you have the half double crochets for the strap. So this is very little of the second ball of Scrubby that you're supposedly buying. So you could even use, I was thinking if you had scraps of like regular cotton, so just like make this out of the Scrubby and then use a scrap of regular cotton for the border. And because this, you're not washing yourself with this part, so you don't really need it to be Scrubby. So you could use a regular cotton for that, you know. Or because this strap, if you take it, you can flip it like this, and it's kind of the same whichever side you do. So you could, another thought that I had was like maybe use 1 pad of regular cotton for regular washing and make the other pad the same size but out of Scrubby and put them together so that you can have a smoother side and then a Scrubby side if you really feel like you need to exfoliate or whatever. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. But definitely, even if you decided to do the whole thing in Scrubby, you do not need as many balls as they call for in that pattern. I know they're trying to sell some yarn, but come on now. So that was the Friday for Alan, for my husband. I don't know what I'll do for him next Friday. Maybe I'll cast on socks for him. I don't know. I have never made him socks before because he's allergic to wool, and most of the yarn that I buy for socks has some sort of wool content in it. But maybe I'll find some sort of cotton yarn and make him some socks. We'll see. But so Saturday is supposed to be either for me or something for the house or an extra gift day. Okay, so I don't have anything. I mean, I have thoughts on things I want to make for myself, but I don't have any yarn for any of the things that I want to make for myself, even though I showed some yarn that some projects I pulled apart last week. I still haven't really settled on anything I want to make for myself yet. So I think after I get done with this video, because I'm recording this on a Saturday, when I get done with this video, I will probably go back to work on the fluffy Afghan, since that's technically a home deck and or gift item, because I don't know if I'm going to keep it for myself or give it away. So that's technically a home deck or a gift item, so it could still fit on today. I might just make Saturdays a freebie day for the foreseeable future and give myself permission to work on any of these projects that I've worked on during the week because I'm not sure how I feel about the whole rotation system. I feel like, as you could tell by the little bit of progress I got on each of these projects, I don't, by the time I settle down to do any kind of stitching in the evenings after the other things that distract me during, I mean, some of the things are important, but let's face it, a lot of it is distractions. But by the time I settle down with all of that stuff, get done with all that stuff and settle down to do a little bit of knitting or crocheting or whatever at the end of the day, I usually end up only doing it for about an hour. And you see that I don't get very much done in an hour. Me casting on that pot holder or, setting loom up for that pot holder, it took me a whole episode of a TV show because I was halfway watching the TV show and halfway doing the pot holder. So when I say an hour, it's not even an hour where I'm giving full attention to something. The one that I got the most done on, the Afghan, is because it's stockinette stitch. And I can do stockinette stitch almost with my eyes closed. So that's how I was able to get 3 inches done in the hour or so that I had time to, that I gave myself time. Because there is time. I just need to learn to marshal my time, to be a better steward of my time, as they would say. So that's why I feel like this needlework rotation, if I continue to follow this rotation, I feel like it may take months for me to get any of these projects done unless I learn to be a better steward of my time and put other things aside to devote them to the knitting and crocheting. Because I feel like that must be, because I watch all these other people and their videos, their vlogs, and I wonder how they post a vlog every week and they're finishing things. How are they finishing things every week? But I also think the same thing about I watch a lot of people who do book vlogs on YouTube, and I think, how are they finishing 3 books in a week? I mean, there was a time when I was finishing 3 books in a week, but I was not watching any TV, and I was not, you know, between 2014 and 2016, I was finishing 3 books a week, but I wasn't doing any knitting, and I wasn't watching much TV. So that's how I was getting it done. Um, Quite honestly, I was doing, well, we'll leave that alone. But that's how I was getting it done. So I don't know how other people, they I guess they're not playing a bunch of games on their iPad like I do, which I waste a lot of time doing that, or just staring into space, trying to wake up in the morning, trying not to be so tired, trying to look for a job, trying to, there's so many other things calling for my attention that I somehow let time just slip past me. But I'm hoping that this needlework rotation will help me be a better steward of my time, because I don't feel like I want to give up reading books and writing book reviews for my book blog. I don't want to give up knitting or doing these videos. And I still have to clean my house. I still have to look for a job. I don't, somehow I need to find some area somewhere. I still need to sleep. I need to find some area somewhere to fit in more time, to use my time better. So anyway, that is the end of all of the stitching content. I will just have just a little bit of chatty content at the end here. But if you came just for the stitching, then, bye bye. I'll see you next week. It was nice of you to come visit. Um, okay, for the chatty content. It is 89 degrees Fahrenheit here in my part of North Carolina. It is hot. the little window AC that we use because we don't have central air for this is I think the 5th summer running, no central air, and it's just hot. It's just hot. It's hot all over the house, so it's not just me. I don't know if that's what's making me tired. I had I had a good bit of energy the week before Sydney and Chloe came home, and I had a good bit of energy for a week after they came home. But starting like last Thursday, I could feel the energy draining from me. I was productive for like 2 weeks in a row, and now I just feel it. And I don't know if it's partly the heat or if I was just bound to lose my energy anyway. But that's why I'm recording here, because I didn't feel like moving the computer and setting up my chair. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot of work, but I felt like if I didn't just sit right here and record this video, it just wasn't going to get done. What other things are on my mind? I'm still thinking about doing the Friday Reads videos, but I'm still trying to make this video a habit. So before I can add on another video, I feel like I need to spend more time making this video a habit. But I thought I'd mention what I'm reading this week. I'm reading a book called The Little French Bistro. I have an ARC copy of it. It's supposed to be released mid-June, I think. June 15th, I think. So far, it's kind of depressing. I thought it was supposed to be one of those charming, uplifting, somebody goes to France and finds themselves kind of book. But it starts out with a woman trying to commit suicide. I I like the fact that all the characters are older. They're all like maybe 10 years older than me, so they're like in their 60s, which is a nice change from reading about a bunch of 18 and 20-year-olds, which a lot of romances have. Um, but so far, the tone is depressing. I'm hoping it picks up soon. But that's what I'm reading. Little French Bistro. Um, but then I'll get into the whole stack of of graphic novels that I have beside my bedside table. Um, so hopefully I'll talk to you guys about that. I'm still trying to post on my book blog, Average Gal Reads. If you're interested in knowing what I'm reading about, I've got a Facebook page, and it's averagegalreads.blogspot.com, just in case you're interested. Um, I still have my henna is fading, as you can see if you can see on this half, it's almost gone on this half, but there's still a little bit on this half because when you wash your hands, when I wash my hands, the water kind of runs down over the top part, and so it faded more on this side than it did on this side, but I expect it'll probably be gone completely in another week. I think that's it. I'm sure I had some other things to chat about, but quite honestly, the air has already been off for 35 minutes in this room, and I feel like I'm going to pass out. And my hair is pulled back because it's a hot mess, so I didn't feel like wearing the afro, but having my hair pulled up like this gives me a headache after a while. So I need to take my hair down. I need to turn some air on. I need to get some food because all I've had is a bagel and a cup of coffee, and it's already 7 p.m. Hopefully I will. I'm not in a bad mood. I don't want to say that. I'm not in a bad mood, but I'm hoping that it's just my energy level is very low. And I'm hoping by next week because I was enjoying the productivity. I was feeling good about getting housework done. I was feeling good about, I mean, not just general housework, not just the general sweeping, but like getting the refrigerator cleaned out, getting things cleaned up in the office, so that, because I hope that one day I'll be able to do videos in the office instead of my bedroom. Um, maybe have it decorated a little bit like all the other fancy vlogs that I see. Um, I'm starting to get the house in shape, and then I lose my energy like this, and it's just disappointing. But I'm trying to keep my spirits up even if my energy is not high. So thank you to everybody who has stuck around thus far. Um, hopefully I'll have more things to talk about and more things to show you next week. So this is it for Saturday Stitching. Bye.